Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. You've died and arrived at a train station to your afterlife. The trains are animals, traditional heaven, rebirth, and eternal nothingness. Which train do you take and why? Heaven, rebirth is way too risky. The chance of you pulling an ass card is really fucking high. I feel like if these are the options every time you die, rebirth would definitely be the most fun one. Except a future you might pick nothingness. Right. I'd probably end up born in a Chinese factory town. When I turn 12 I get to start my $1/day job making ugly basketball shoes or knock-off cell phones. And there is no guarantee you don't land in the past or far future. Could suck ass even more. I put in a job application to work at the train station. This train station is going to be well staffed. Honestly sounds like it'd be a better job than anything I've done on this side. I'll probably just be paralyzed by this choice and stay at the train station. Chitty. Show him the time knife. Traditional heaven. I wouldn't want another ride on this whirling ember of a planet without my wife, kid, and family / friends. I'd rather just chill with them in traditional heaven. How would you know they picked traditional heaven as well? There's no way you could know, but the question was if I was asked, not that everyone was asked. In a moment of panic and uncertainty I screw up and get in the one labeled afterbirth. It doest go well from there. Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, discharged upside down. I don't care. I don't show up. I go to Berlin. That's where I stashed the chandelier. I see your username's accurate. Crap, I need a pun. Something started the fire. Ryan started the fire. Rebirth. I already live in Brazil and work since my teenage years, so I pretty much would like to risk it, and it would be pretty awesome being born in the future. Imagine being born as gay during dark ages. That would suck. It would, but you wouldn't. I'd give it another shot and say rebirth. However, on a different planet as an alien. Let's try something new this time. That's really gonna scare the people living on that planet. You talks about past life as a life form on some distant planet called Earth. Them aliens exist. I get on the train to Ghost. I imagine you'd get to do everything fun, like watch TV at people's places at sea, without responsibilities. Also, you'd still be able to follow the soapsery Earth, which should be entertaining to watch when you don't have to participate. Yes, I made up my own train. Deal with it. I accept it. Yari, I get to Ghost. Traditional heaven. Because I think you can make heaven whatever you want it to be. Like in Supernatural, where each person had their own heaven and nobody's was the same. It gives me anxiety, like Dean is out for a drive while Sam lives 50 years, and ages remarkably little. I already have that problem in life, getting into a thread while your rice burns, zoning out and missing your exit. I feel like a large portion of my identity is efforts I've constructed to thwart that flow state, and that by being in it I wouldn't be myself. But a different person. I don't know. If idea of letting my guard down, even in heaven, nope. In church I learned that heaven is like a church service that never ends and the people sing praises to God forever. So heaven is my own personal hell. Got it. I remember being taught this and feeling super skeptical about how that was supposed to be awesome. Upon reading this, I would like to change my answer from heaven to rebirth. Rebirth. I like being alive. This makes me happy. I'm glad to hear it. Gets reborn as African diamond miner or Southeast Asian sweatshop worker. That would suck, but probably not last long. It would be beneficial if you remembered the feeling of suffering, and had empathy for others when you came back. To be quite honest, I'd rather just stay in the station. I wouldn't want rethink once I've chosen. I'd much rather stay and chat and meet all those who come after me, have them tell their stories, see anyone who comes in, have experiences which I never would have had otherwise. That's what I would do. The only winning move is not to play. Someone figured out how to beat the Stanley Parable. Yes. The train station ending. Just hang around, greeting / bothering / ignoring the incoming dead people. Raising havoc, being helpful, going mad, returning to sanity, building a nice home under a bench, waiting for the heat death of the universe to meet God as he's closing up the joint. Oddly specific. According to Bud, her eternal nothingness is the only good pick, but if I'll be coming back anyways, I might as well do some magpie runs first. Being reborn and helping others to decrease their suffering is considered a legitimate choice in Buddhism as well. Do I get my choice of what animal I could be? I could end up as a fruit fly and live for a day, only to end up back at the station. Or could I be a lapdog, born to be someone's beloved pet for around 13 years? Could I be a tortoise and live for 140 years? You get to pick, yes. Being a tortoise seems pretty chill, except when you're tiny as a baby and have to survive predators. Once you get to be an adult, it's all good. I would do one thing I and probably most people never do in life. Carefully review the terms and conditions of each choice before making the final decision. Animal cause Moke. Edit, thanks for the upvotes. Reject humanity, return to Moke. Ah yes, another man of culture. Traditional heaven, you would be happy / content by default. I always say this about if you ever could have one wish. Don't wish for money in the pursuit of happiness. Just straight up wish to be happy and content. You can't lose. I read a short story in which a man wished for eternal youth and happiness. He became a demented child who laughed a lot and chased butterflies that weren't there. So he was eternally happy, it's just other people who weren't. I mean, that still sounds like winning to me. I'd stay in the train station and explore that reality, maybe even find whoever's in charge or figure out how the entire afterlife system works, all the while meeting new and interesting people because everyone must die eventually. Best case I become basically a god, worst case I waste a few years there and learn nothing, then choose a train later. I imagine the constant supply of new people to tell a random wall leads to platform 9 3/4 would help make the stay enjoyable. Nothing says fun like convincing a bunch of dead people to plow face first into a brick pillar. Eternal nothingness sounds nice, no wants, no needs, no stress, just myself and the void. Just myself and the void. No, just the void. Not even the void is there. That's how empty it is. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't even have a sense of self anymore. Your consciousness would most likely cease to exist. It would just be the void and darkness. That's what death actually is, and I'm glad it is that way, cause hell no, I ain't doing this shit for eternity. I go to animal heaven straight up. I'm really not comfortable around other humans in the first place. I won't like to go back to Earth with all the shit it's gonna go through in the future, and the eternal nothingness is just my greatest fear of all. Plus imagine petting an extinct species. Surely the dinosaurs must be there, imagine petting a dinosaur. I meant reincarnation into an animal, but after that you'd get to go to animal heaven, so still works. Lol. Ah, so rebirth, just the animal ones. Damn train stations not being clear. Well, I'll just go and try to be a bear. Imagine thinking you're going to animal heaven and then being born as a wild animal in a likely brutal and unforgiving land. Relevant quote. If there are no dogs in heaven, then when I die I want to go where they went. Will Rogers. What about Valhalla? Must have been the damn world peace, won't let decent folk die in battle. The trains don't go to Valhalla, you'll need one of the longboats at the dock. Get on one of the rail replacement buses labeled Scientology and get off at the third stop. There's an ice cream truck there, ask for a grape and pillage Ben and Jerry's. The dude will tell you to get in the back, he'll bind and blindfold you, but this is normal. After a few years you'll arrive at an airfield and can charter a private plane, make sure it's a seaplane as the docks don't have a runway. Best of luck. Oh. And eat the ice cream as soon as you can, you don't want it to thaw out and melt. All that to set up a pun. You'd a real MVP. That depends a lot on which version of heaven it is. Singing in an eternal choir or standing around bored for eternity would quickly come to feel like different hell, and no thank you. I picture heaven to be like Earth except mind-blowingly better. It's not going to be walking around on clouds. There will be land and ocean and trees and animals, but it will be like the Garden of Eden x 1 million. The most amazing places on Earth would seem mundane to the most boring wonders in heaven. Some places in the Bible even refer to heaven as the new Earth. Pretty much Earth is a cheap Chinese knockoff of what heaven is. I imagine it like Earth too, but your greatest wishes come true. I choose oblivion. Living a long time in good health sounds awesome, but I imagine that life could get tedious if you've seen the same things happen, repeatedly. Eventually, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 would become your mantra, there is nothing new under the sun. Jorge Luis Borges, with a debt to Vicente Aleixandre, wrote, Quiero morir del todo, quiero morir con este compero, mi cuerpo. I want to die completely, I want to die with this companion, my body. Dying will likely hurt, and I hope to avoid it for a long time, but death doesn't scare me, usually. When I've had surgery, I'm just gone and then I'm back. I imagine not being as a tremendous relief, though the universe could call me back into being if there's some entity beyond our knowledge. I do hope that the Egyptian religion isn't the right one. If so, I am not going to enjoy the afterlife. Your response is awesome. Thank you. I choose Oblivion. In that case, I choose Skyrim. You're finally awake.